The first thing I'm going to show you here is how to open the door. The best way to open the door is to just simply put your thumb right here, and then these just fall into your fingers. That's the best way to open these. I know these have been out for a while, but still people come up and they go, what is this? What do you knock? So that's that. The second thing is easy entry mode, and I want to show you why I don't actually use this setting. So when you click on, you can see right here, it actually says easy entry right now because I was just looking at it. But if I click there and then I click on my profile under Ben, it starts to move the steering wheel and my seat into the position that I want it to be. But if you click on your name and then you go to driver profile settings, you can see here it says easy entry is on. The reason that I turn it off is because easy entry simply moves the seat and steering wheel out of the way to make it easy to get into the vehicle. The problem is there's been times when I've had things in the back, whether it's a car seat or a person, it pushes the seat all the way back and ends up crushing or moving the car seat. So for that reason, I have it turned off. I don't have any issues getting in or out of the car. But again, I'm only 6 feet tall. If you're like 6'4", 6'5", or something, you may want to use that to be able to ingress and egress out of the vehicle. Now, the next thing I need to show you is the trunk. This is more important on the Model Y, and I'll show you that, but you need to know about this as well. So this lid opens up and stops at a certain height. Now, before you go into your garage or wherever you live, or maybe it's a low parking garage, you may want to adjust how high this lid goes up. And it's very simple to do that. All you have to do is set the trunk to the height you want it to. So you can see where it opens up now. We're gonna pull it down, and then we are going to hold the trunk button. It makes that noise, and then you can close it. So next time you open up the trunk, God, gotta get the camera close because that's my key. So next time we open up the trunk, there you go. It stops at that new height that I set it to. And again, all you have to do is set it to the height you want it to, hold the button in, you'll hear an audible sound, and that is your new trunk height. This is obviously more important on the Model Y because the rear hatch goes significantly higher, but any Tesla you own, that's how you set the trunk height. Now back in the trunk here, there's something I just learned recently is the weight limit for anything on top of here is 198 pounds. And then I love this little cutout here from 3D Mats, but the down below weight limit is 88 pounds. So if you're a drug dealer or you kidnap people, just know 198 pounds. So you could fit me back here, no problem. I'm like 174, 4 or 5. And then down here, 88 pounds. The other thing you'll notice down here is these come with a front plate. So you don't need to purchase a front plate. And the nice thing is there is adhesive on them as well. So you don't have to drill into your front bumper. You can just use this adhesive and it'll fit perfectly if you're in a state that needs a front plate. The other thing here, I've talked about these before, but these are the air compressors from Fantic. This is the X9 Ultra. And this is the X9 Pro. You've probably actually seen these in Costco for a while. I've loved this thing because it fills your car up or pumps balls up literally faster than anything that I've ever tested. I ran just a third-party test on all these different air compressors, and the closest thing to this, adding 20 PSI to my Rivian tires, was 6 minutes, like a little over 6 minutes. This added 20 PSI in 2 minutes. The other day I filled up a basketball, it took like 4 seconds. So this is great. It's still portable. You could bring this with you, but it's a little bulky. If you don't want something this bulky, you can just put the X9 Pro literally anywhere in your car. And then to turn it on, this is really cool. You pop that out and it immediately turns on. You can set your PSI. You can charge your phone on this thing. It's just really good. And then this is just insane because you have all these different settings. You have flashlights and you have this cable that's perfectly stored below, as well as the accessories tip. So filling up a sports ball, filling up a float or something like that, and then some type of adapter here. I don't actually know what it's for. This cable comes out, it's extremely long, and then when you hook it up to your car, it shows you exactly what your current PSI is, and you can set it. And if you guys watch my road trip video with my Tesla Model 3, I was running at a lower PSI and lost 2% of range because I was running at a low PSI like an idiot, and I should have had one of these in my car, but I didn't at the time. So I would absolutely get these if you're just getting a Tesla, and it's also usable for more things outside of your vehicle. This is excellent for home. This is excellent for on the road, and I'll have a crazy discount code below. Sometimes they're up to 45% off of these units. So Fantic's been a great partner on the channel. They make a quality product. Let's get back to it. Initially, when you purchase your Tesla, you will set up a driver profile. And what I love about it is it's dynamic. So if I right now move my seat up, you'll see that that pops up and I can hit save right away. Or if I move it back a little bit, I can hit restore and it'll go ahead and restore to my previous settings. So constantly on the fly, you can adjust your driver profile if I do the same thing. So if I hit this button and say adjust mirrors, it will bring up the screen to adjust the mirrors. And if I go ahead and adjust them slightly, you can hit save again to update your driver profile. So you don't have to go in any special menus or anything like that. And if you don't want to dig in the menus, you can use the voice commands to literally do just about anything. You can even say, turn on cooled seat. And there it goes. It goes to auto, and we've got one strip of bacon cooling my rectum down right now. So that's good. You know, I'm not going to edit it out, but I do apologize for using the word rectum there. It's a little dirty. It's a dirty word, you know? It's a dirty word. Also, a little off topic here, but but so is the last thing. I mean, look at Scottsdale right now. It's 78 degrees. People are doing fake crypto. They live in $50 million mansions upside the mountain. They don't do anything real. It's wild to be out here. I mean, what a wild place. All right, back to the video. The other thing you should set up right away, because you never know, maybe you get in an accident on the way home from you buying your new Tesla. Hopefully that doesn't happen, but I'm just saying. Again, I just want you to get the most out of your vehicle. You want to make sure Sentry mode is on, and then you can exclude home, work, or favorites in places where you don't want it to be using it. And then there's all these other features which I've gone over in other videos. But what I want to show you right now is your new Tesla should come with a USB-C stick that you can see right there. Okay, so just make sure that's in there, okay, before you leave the factory. And then just go to here and hit format USB drive. That way it has room to save everything and you can make sure there are no errors up front. So just make sure that that is done right away, because this is an incredible feature. You're able to remotely access your vehicle, look at the cabin through the cabin camera here, and look at all the other exterior cameras to see what is going on with your vehicle. You also get notifications if there is suspicious activity going on, and you can speak or sound the alarm and see exactly what's going on. It is incredible and it works really well. Also, if you're wondering if I'm going to cover charging, I'm going to show you some charging hacks that could actually save you a decent amount of money at the end of this video, instead of installing like a full hardwired charger, which can be very expensive for some people. I'll show you the plug that a lot of garages have that you may be able to use. But one thing that concerns a lot of new Tesla owners right when they get their Tesla is that autopilot and the self-driving doesn't work right away, so you have to do a driving calibration. So when I picked up my Tesla, I had to drive for about 10 minutes before I could use autopilot or full self-driving. And I believe that once that's completed and the setting is enabled, which allows the use of autopilot, you should be good to go. The other thing is it may take up to 2 weeks before you start receiving any software updates. So maybe your friends have Teslas and they ask, hey, did you get the new update? And you're like, no, I'm a loser. It's just because you have a newer car and it's still in a way is going through the calibration process. But after about that 2-week period, you'll start to get the updates and everything will be fine. The other thing I want to show you while I'm actually driving the vehicle is how to engage autopilot and why I like the double click system over the single click. So to engage autopilot, all you do is tap this left scroll wheel. And now I'm going, it's set to a max of 51 because I've done an offset of 6 miles per hour, so it adjusts. But if I want to go a little bit slower, I just scroll on the wheel and it will slow the vehicle down. Now the other thing, this is not doing lane keep assist, it's just dynamic cruise control, so it'll adjust to the speed if there's a car in front of me. So double click keeps me in lane keep assist as well. This is the full autopilot system from Tesla. So I like double click because it gives you, just heading on into traffic here, so that's why I lost my words for a second. But I like the double click feature because it lets me steer the car and do dynamic cruise control. And then if I want to double click it, then I can go into full autopilot. And then if I had full self-driving on, which this car has the subscription right now, then that would let me single click and that would take me into full self-driving, which would drive me to wherever my destination is. And that's a really impressive system. Now, I don't feel that it's worth the $8,000, not personally for me, but maybe $2,000, something like that. That would be, or just include it with the cost of the Tesla and just make the values of the vehicle exponentially better than the competition. Like if you're looking at this, or you're looking at a BMW 3 Series and a Tesla Model 3, BMW has not, can't say our cars can drive themselves. So I think that that might be the way to go for Tesla in the future. The other thing that's cool within here is the blind spot camera. You can see there's a little bird scooter there in my blind spot, and I didn't know that, and I'm blind. And you can just go like this, and you can actually move it to different parts of the screen. Just got to hold it, and it'll highlight where you can move it to. So you can adjust that to various parts of the screen based on your own preference. The other thing we need to talk about is regenerative braking. Now, some people will say, I don't like regenerative braking. And all that is when I let off of the gas, when I let off of the electric, the car will start to slow down. That's regenerative braking. It's putting energy back in the battery. This is great because you're able to not wear on your brake pads. You're able to not produce a lot of brake dust, even though the Model 3 Performance does produce a lot of brake pads because it produces a lot of brake dust because it has track pads on it. So it's a pretty aggressive pad from the factory, produces a lot of brake dust, but has a lot of stopping power. And again, just talking about wear and tear and how these vehicles make sense over time, because the truth is that there is inconvenience involved with them. Like if you're taking a road trip, it's going to take a little bit longer if you're in a Tesla, depending on where you're going. It's going to take a little bit longer. There's kind of no way around that because you have to charge. Now, when you factor in eating and going to the bathroom and things like that, sometimes it's not as bad as you think. But these things like regenerative braking and having no oil changes and things like that is what makes Teslas and electric vehicles in general make sense over the long term. Because while you give up some things, you also get some things that can be really nice. And having no, you know, the oil changes, the transmission fluid, the spark plugs, all the things that come with a high mileage gas car, these do not have. These actually make more sense the longer you own them. If you're gonna own it for 2 or 3 years, you kind of better off leasing because the depreciation hit is going to be huge, and then you're not seeing those long-term savings and things like that. So I recommend driving it until, you know, the battery explodes like everyone says they're gonna do. These batteries are rated for 1,500 cycles, which is 300,000 to 500,000 miles out of a battery, depending on how you drive the car and how you charge it and all that stuff. So, and on average, a study just came out from the UK showing that the Teslas lasted on average 204,000 miles. So it's up to you. If you want to own the vehicle for a long time and see all the savings, you'll do that. But most people are going to want to get the new one with the new technology, and they'll want to try Rivian and Mercedes and BMW, and they'll just mess around and lose the depreciation, and that's fine. But if you want to have the savings, you need to keep the vehicle for a long time, and that's when you'll exponentially see it really pay off going with an electric vehicle. So I guess I never actually explained regenerative braking, but you let off and the car starts to slow itself down. Now, some people like to drive like idiots and they go, oh, you're supposed to feather it. So if the gas is here or if the electric is here, you want to release it a little bit and then slow down. So it's a push-pull mechanism. I find it very useful. And if you're going to be in an accident, the second you let off the gas, the car starts to slow down while you're transferring over to the brake. So it gives you a little bit more safety even as you let off of the gas. Now, climate control is another thing that, again, if you're not familiar with a Tesla, you may have questions about this. So click this right here, and then you'll see you can aim the air wherever you want it to. But if you want to split it, you simply go like this, and then you're able to aim it up or down with 2 different air streams coming out of here, and it all automatically adjusts. Comes out of there, all automatically adjusts based on what you're doing on the screen, and then you're able to just close them together and have one stream and aim it away or anything like that. You can also heat up your steering wheel and heat up your windshield to de-ice it or something like that. The other thing you'll want to know is I currently have this set to auto, letting the car decide whether it's going to bring it from the inside, from the outside of the vehicle, or auto. So the reason I point that out is because maybe you're driving next to a farm and you see the cow manure and you go, oh no, and you go to hit it and it's already too late because your car sucked up that stank. So you may just want to, I don't know, maybe you're driving through a rural area. Just so you know, you're able to decide. The car will decide the air quality on the outside of the vehicle. If that's okay to bring in, it'll bring in that to refresh the cabin. So the car does a pretty good job of it for the most part, but if you want to take it out for whatever reason, or maybe someone blows out in the car and you need to evacuate that air, you bring in air from the outside. So that's what that does. Now let's look at the charger hack I talked about earlier. So for the home charging setup, this I have from Autel. This is a hardwire 50 amp unit here. This is going to charge it the fastest, I think around 44 miles per hour. But we have, the hack is here. So this is the most cost effective in terms of getting a lot of speed and not a ton of install costs, and that's doing a NEMA 1450 plug. That's plenty for 99.9% of people. But if you don't have the ability to put this in, your garage in a car, it'll come with this is a 515 adapter. This is like 3 or 4 miles per hour. This is my favorite one. This is the 520 adapter. So I'm going to plug this in right now. I've seen up to 7 miles per hour of charging, so we'll do that right now. So look around your garage. My garage has a freezer in it, and that is having that little left dash is what you're looking for to make sure you have a 520 adapter. So I'm going to plug it in now and see what type of charging speed we get. And there you go. You can see we're getting 6 miles an hour. It will go up to 7 if I'm not in the vehicle. But 6 miles an hour, it literally doubles your charging speed. And I think a lot of people, that would be plenty. You think the overnight charging, 6 times 12, what's that, 72? Something like that. But you could potentially get away with not having a really high-speed charger and just using that $35 adapter on the mobile charger. So something to think about. Now, if you want to see what a road trip is like in my Model 3 Performance, click this video right here.